Hi guys, good morning, welcome to week number 2 of quarantine. I'm wearing a weird shirt this morning, so I don't know how this microphone placement is going to work out, but we'll test it and I'll move it if I need to. So this morning is a 45-minute level 1 to 2 class. It's not super challenging this morning. My body is a little bit beat up, so the practice is going to reflect that. And also there's a level 3 tonight, so for me, I don't want to kill myself before I get there later. There was something else that I wanted to tell you before we started, and I don't remember what it is anymore. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess that's it then. You don't need any props this morning, again, unless you typically like to have stuff around you. But there's nothing that I foresee you really, a lot of people needing to have this morning. So you don't have to worry about that. I really can't remember what the other thing was that I was supposed to tell you. So we're just going to start. We're just going to get right into it. So come on over to your mat. We're going to start, surprise, surprise, in child's pose. I don't like to give many surprises right at the start of class because it's really just a moment for everybody to kind of take a second to themselves and, have a second to focus on their breath rather than worrying too much about what it is that I'm saying and what it is that I'm asking them for. So, child's pose, please. Knees to the mat, hips towards the heels. And the upper body drops forwards, forehead maybe touches the mat. It might not get all the way there. Nothing fancy here this morning. Just focusing on your breathing. Before trying to change your breath, trying to alter it to your practice, just take a few breaths and just observe what it does naturally. Maybe seeing if there's a different length on the inhale as there is to the exhale. Maybe seeing if there's any parts of the body that immediately start to show you some resistance or maybe immediately start to feel really good. And then slowly, a little bit with each breath, start to lengthen the inhales and deepen the exhales. The inhales are allowing a bit more expansion. Maybe feeling a little lift in your rib cage. And your exhales are giving you a bit more power. Contracting the belly, slightly closing off the back of your throat. Just maybe 3 more breaths here. Continuing that opening and closing of the body. Once your 3 breaths are completed, if you need some more time here, take it. When you're ready, use an inhale and bring your body up into tabletop position. Hands under the shoulders, knees under your hips, fingers spreading wide. Finding that grounding through the knuckles, specifically the knuckles of your index fingers. Take a deep breath. Inhale to cow tilt. Drop your belly, lift your chest, gaze comes up. Exhale, cat's tilt around your spine. Engage the belly as you lift. Back to cow. Inhale, belly drops, chest opens forwards as the shoulders roll back. Exhale, push through the arms, spread the shoulder blades above you. 3 more. Inhaling, your sit bones lift up behind you, your pelvis tilts up. The exhale tucks the pelvis under. 2 more, just following your breath. And once your final exhale is completed, come back to neutral on the inhale. Fingertips still spreading. Toes tuck under behind you. Downward facing dog. Lift the knees, reach back through the chest. Let the knees stay bent here a little bit. Take a breath. Just reach back through the chest. Again, pressing down through your knuckles, keeping them grounded. And then let the right leg go straight and the left knee bends a little further. So you're getting some opening through the back of your right leg here. And then switch to the other side. So your left leg goes straight, the right knee bends a little bit. And then do that a couple more times on each side. Right leg goes straight. And then switch. And once more. You can stay here on this last one, or you can maybe draw the left knee underneath the body a little further. And then switch to the other side one last time. And then back to neutral at the center. Both knees might bend a little bit again. Both legs might start to go straight. Then take a little bend of your knees. If they're not already, look forwards. Small steps, walk the feet to the top of your mat. Let the feet stay separated a couple inches here to start. Leave the knees bent and then just relax the upper body. You can grab the opposite elbows if it feels good. A couple deep breaths here. Some movement if it feels nice as well. So your head might shake a bit. Maybe no, maybe yes. Your upper body might also sway a little side to side, getting some movement in your lower back. And then when you're ready, just come back to stillness. Release your arms if they're bound. Keep your knees bent and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Take your time coming up. Let the head stay heavy. It's going to be the very last thing to lift. And then your feet heel toe towards one another. Big toes might touch. Reaching down through the fingers. Your shoulders are drawing back. Your heels are pressing down. Deep breath. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, arms come down by your sides. Again, inhale, opening on the inhale. And closing on the exhale, arms down. Last one. Lifting, inhale. This time fold, exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands coming towards your mat. Knees again might bend a little bit. Inhale, flat back, lift your chest. Chest pulling away from the legs. Hands probably press into your shins. And then fold, exhale. Again, inhale, flat back. Using some engagement of your back muscles here to flatten out the middle and lower back. And release, exhale. Once more, inhale, flat back, back to plank. Exhale, plant the palms, walk your feet to the back of your mat. Then set the knees down for your modified plank. Your pelvis here is tucked under. You don't want the hips tipping up or collapsing to your mat. Tucking the pelvis under, make sure the belly is active, lower back is supported. Keep that support, your first chaturanga. Exhale, start to bend the elbows. Don't let the hips collapse. Only bend the elbows as far as you can while keeping the hips supported. You might make it all the way to 90 degrees. And then release all the way down onto your belly. Once you're down, tops of the feet push into the mat. Shoulder blades squeeze together behind you. Cobra pose. Inhale, halfway lift up. Making sure this is a pull with the muscles of your back rather than a push with the muscles of your arms. Go ahead, release, drop back down. If that felt good, you can slide your hands back another inch or so. Same thing, press through the center of the top of your foot. Inhale, lift your chest, peeling the chest up, reaching the elbows back. And then release all the way down. Once more. When you're ready, strong legs first, then start to lift your chest. Palms this time might float while the feet stay down behind you. And then release all the way down. Tuck your toes under. Either on the knees or the toes, come into plank. Inhale, push up. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Just 3 breaths, spreading the fingers.
Finding length from your hands, through the shoulders, through your spine, up to your hips. On your next inhale, look forwards. Step or jump the feet between the hands. Lift your chest halfway up, flat back. Exhale, fold. Coming to standing with a flat back this time. Inhale, lift your chest, then continue all the way up, lifting the arms and your gaze. Exhale, arms by your sides. Surya Namaskara A, Sun Salutation A. Modify where you need to. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, fold, hinging at the hips, hands towards the mat. Inhale, flat back, lift the chest. Back to plank. Exhale, plant the palms, step or jump the feet to the back of the mat. First option, knees are down. Second option, knees are lifted. Wherever you are in the options, your pelvis is tucked under a little bit, belly is strong, glutes are switched on. Chaturanga. Exhale, bend the elbows. The chest, the belly, the thighs hover. Inhale. First option is cobra. Second option, you can take upward facing dog. If you're going to choose up dog at any point, tops of the feet push down, that same engagement is in your legs so that the knees and thighs can float a little bit. Downward facing dog. Whether you're in up dog or cobra, first option, push down through the knees. Second option, push down through the tops of the feet and roll over your toes. 2 or 3 breaths. Again, your first priority is the length of your spine. If you find that your spine is rounding with straight legs, bend the knees a little bit so you can flatten it out. Take one more. Coming to the top of the mat, inhale, look forwards. Step or jump the feet between the hands. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift your chest. Exhale, plant the palms. Lunge your left foot to the back of the mat. Left leg steps back. First option, back knee is down. Second option, back knee can stay lifted. Left hand stays on the mat. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. This is your first twist. Take your time. Doesn't have to be so deep. Again, it's still, morning. Your body is still waking up. Take another 2 breaths. Reach a little further through the back heel. Front heel grounded right underneath the knee. Downward facing dog. When you're ready, exhale, right hand down, right foot to the back of your mat. Then coming into 3-legged down dog. Keep the knuckles grounded, keep your chest reaching back. Your right leg lifts up. Reaching back through the right leg. Left knee might be bent a little bit here still, but the floating leg is straight and pulling the chest back. Take one more. Crescent lunge. Right foot, your floating foot, steps forwards once again. Once that foot is forwards, ground into the legs. Both arms lift up this time. Start to lift your chest and the arms go up overhead. 2 or 3 breaths. Front knee just on top of the ankle. And the front knee is tracking out a little bit over the pinky toe. You don't want it collapsing into your hip joint. You want it to support the hip joint with the engagement around the hip. Take one more. Coming into your fold. Exhale, hands down, left foot comes up to meet the right. Inhale, flat back. Setting up your other side. Exhale, plant the palms, right leg lunges back. Again, first option, back knee down. Second option, back knee lifted. Right hand is on the mat and the left arm turns up to the ceiling. So once you have that kick through the back heel and the grounding in your front heel, your shoulders roll back. Make sure your chest isn't collapsed in. It's opening up towards the left side of your mat. One more here. Downward facing dog. When you're ready, left hand down, left foot back. Three-legged down dog. Left leg lifts up. Chest reaches back. Both hips are still reaching back, even though both of your legs are going in different directions. Your hips are still pulling towards the back wall. One more. Crescent lunge. Left foot, floating foot, steps forwards. Once the legs are grounded and settled, start to lift your chest. Eventually, the arms are overhead. Just 2 or 3 breaths here, making sure your front leg is stable, knee out to the side a little bit, back heel kicking away. Then coming into your fold. When you're ready, exhale, hands down. Right foot comes up to meet the left. Inhale, flat back. through a vinyasa. Exhale, plant the palms. Step or jump the feet to the back of your mat. First option, knees down. Second option, knees lifted. Chaturanga. Exhale. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Really strong upper back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Downward facing dog. When you're ready, exhale, send the hips towards the back wall. Lizard lunge. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand and drop your back knee down onto the mat. Now from here, the first variation of this lunge is going to be a pretty active one. So you're looking for alignment. You're looking for things to line up in the body. Front heel is directly underneath the knee and it's grounded. Once that heel is grounded under the knee, that's not going to change. Your hips now might be able to go lower. Now, if you were to keep the legs in the same position and get your hips lower, that would shoot your front knee way out in front of your heel. So you're going to keep that leg where it is, and you're going to walk your back knee away from you, which gives your hips a little bit more space. Now, the back knee might not go very far. That's okay if it doesn't, especially at this time in the morning. Just walk it back however far you can, and take a few more breaths here. First option, you can stay on your hands. Second option, if you've got a block, you can drop your forearms onto a block. Final option, your elbows can drop to the mat, just inside of your right foot. However, you want this right knee to stay hugging in to your right tricep. Don't let the knee shoot out away from you. Keep it in here. Another 2 or 3 breaths. Your chest is pulling forwards. You've not collapsed in your upper back. Keep the chest open. And then from here, if you lowered, come on back up onto your hands. You can set the block out away from you here. You're coming into a bit of a twist. Now, right toes, these front toes, are going to turn out about 45 degrees. Your left hand is going to stay on the mat. Right hand comes onto your right knee. Go ahead, push that right knee away from you. You want to get it away from the chest. Let the hips drop further in. Once the hips have dropped, lift your chest up and then look back over your right shoulder. First option, stay right here. Second option, if you want a little bit more, you can bend your back knee and reach back, grabbing a hold of your left ankle or left toes. So if you think about a long line happening from your left knee, that's the knee that's on the mat, through the whole front of your body up to your right shoulder. So it's crossing over the front of the body. One more here. And then release the bind if you took it. Bring both hands to the mat. Bring that right knee back into the center. Right toes are facing forwards again. Half Hanumanasana, half splits. Start to walk your hands back as your front leg straightens out. Again, if you have blocks, you can set your hands onto blocks. But don't worry about it if you don't have any. You shouldn't really need them too much. If getting your leg anywhere close to straight causes your back to round, you can bring your hands up onto your hips instead, or you can bring them onto your thigh. Wherever you are, flex your front ankle so your heel is kicking forwards. You might need to adjust your stance a little bit here. Every inhale lengthens your spine. Every exhale folds at your hips. So again, hands might be on your hips, they might be on your shin, they might be down at the mat. Just 2 more here. Breathe into that right hamstring, get that leg open. Last one. And then release. Bend your front knee, downward facing dog. Lift your back knee up, send the right foot back. If you need a vinyasa, you can take it. Otherwise, just hang out where you are for a couple more breaths. If you are taking the vinyasa, it's exhaling to chaturanga, inhaling to cobra or upward facing dog, and exhaling back, downward face. And then everybody setting up the other side. Look forwards, left foot steps to the outside of your left hand. Back knee drops down onto the mat. So you've got a slightly wider lunge. Back knee is down, front knee, again, right on top of the ankle. Back knee maybe then walks away from you, getting your hips a little bit lower. If you change the upper body on the first side, see if it's available here. It might not be. Sometimes both sides of the body have different things going on, so you might experience different allowances in the right and left sides. Wherever you are, take another 2 or 3 breaths. Chest is open. The hips are lowered. And then if you lower down onto your block or your forearms, you can come back up again. Your right hand is going to stay on the mat. Your left toes turn out about 45 degrees or so. Left hand onto your left knee. Push the left knee away from you. Let your hips drop. So getting that knee out and away gives your hips a little bit more space. Hips can drop a bit further. They might not go very far. Then inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, turn your gaze over your left shoulder. So again, if you imagine you're trying to create as much length in the front of the body from your from your right knee, that back knee, through your right hip, through the center of the body, crossing over to this left shoulder. So you want your hips to come as far forwards as you can to increase that arch. One or two more. Oh, excuse me, we'll be here for a little bit longer. If you went there on the first side, bend your back knee, reach back, grab a hold of your right toes. Maybe 3 more breaths. When you've had enough, release your binds, come back to the center, turn those front toes forwards again into your half split. Front knee straightens out. Front ankle is flexed. Again, hands, whatever placement works best for you. Hips, thigh, or the mat. A straight front leg is what you're working towards here. Working towards be the key words there. Not worrying so much about how it looks, not worrying so much about if your leg is perfectly straight or not, but thinking more about, do I have good posture? Can I feel the opening in the back of my leg? If you can, if you don't have one of those things, adjust. Try a different hand placement. Try more opening in the chest. One more here. When you've had enough, release. Bend your front knee, hands to the mat, and back into downward facing dog. Step the left foot back, and then everybody through a vinyasa. If you want to skip it, just stay where you are. If you're taking it, inhale to plank, modify where needed. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. And then back to downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, your right foot steps between the hands, crescent lunge. Right foot is forwards, both arms lifting up overhead. Now from here, we're coming into eagle arms. I'm going to talk you through this, so stay in your lunge. First option, your left arm. I don't know what this is going to look like on the screen because I have a front-facing camera, so maybe really think about your lefts and rights. First option, left arm underneath the right arm. Hands go behind your back. So you're working to grab your shoulder blades. Second option, if that's good, and if your elbows have crossed over one another, then next option is to take the tops of your hands to touch. Final option is your full bind, taking your left hand behind your right forearm, grabbing a hold of the right palm or your right wrist. So those are your 3 options for your arms. Again, it's the left arm underneath your right. Wherever you are, draw the shoulders down. Then lift the elbows up a little bit. If you have one of the second 2 binds, make sure your hands aren't coming right into your face. They're moving straight up. Take one more breath here. Then coming forwards into chair legs. Keep the bend of your front knee. Shift the weight forwards into that front foot, and then just drag your left leg up to meet it. Take another 2 breaths. Sit a little bit further back into your chair. Shoulders down, elbows up. Take one more here. And release. Come to standing. Release the arms all the way up to the top. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Fold. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands down. Inhale, flat back. Vinyasa, if you'd like it. Exhale, plant the palms. Step or jump the feet back. Next, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, open the chest. And exhale, down dog. Other side. Left foot steps forwards, crescent lunge. Lift your chest, lift the arms. Take a second here. So this front leg, as we move into that transition in a moment, your front leg wants to be really strong. So again, knee just over the ankle, knee a little bit out to the side. Glute is really active here. Squeeze your butt. Now arms. Right arm is going to go underneath your left. Right arm underneath the left. First option, hands behind the back. Second option, tops of the hands touch. Final option, right hand behind the left and grabbing the left palm or wrist. Shoulders down, elbows up. Take 1 or 2 more. Then again, stay low in this front leg. Keep the engagement of your glute. Shift the weight forwards into that front foot. Drag your right foot up to meet the left. As you sit back, you're not tipping your hips towards the back of your mat. You're tucking your pelvis under. Keep your belly strong. 1 more. And then release. Come to standing, release the arms. Whew, well done. Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Vinyasa, exhale, plant the palms. Step or jump the feet back. Exhale to Chaturanga, elbows stay close to your sides. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Strong legs. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, your left foot steps forwards between the hands. And then you're going to walk the hands over to the right, pivoting the feet so that you wind up in a straddle. Now from here, you can bring your hands up onto your thighs to set this up. Your feet want to be about a leg's length apart. So if you're really tall with long legs, your feet are going to be wider than mine because I am not tall with long legs. Now from here, toes are turned in just a little bit. Outer edges of your feet are parallel to each other. Inhale, flat back, lift your chest. Fold, exhale, hinge at the hips. The hands might stay on your thighs. Hands might come to your shins. The hands might come to your mat. Deep breaths. Thinking about the inhales, lengthening your lower back, flattening your lower back. The exhales are using the power of your legs to fold a little further. 2 or 3 more. Last one. Then inhale, halfway lift the chest flat back. Exhale, hands up onto your hips. Inhale all the way up to standing, lifting your chest. 1 more here with this leg position. Take the hands behind you, interlace your fingers. Engage your triceps. See if you can straighten out the arms. Reaching back through the knuckles. Then squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, start to fold. Hinging at the hips again. Same movement in the lower body. You've just added in a little bit more with the upper body now. Make sure that your shoulders haven't dropped forwards as you fold it. Keep the shoulders back. Once you can't fold anymore in your hips, then start to pull the knuckles away from your lower back. Just another 2 or 3 here. Strong legs again. When you've had enough, inhale, pull up through the knuckles, halfway lift. Exhale, release the bind hands to the hips. Inhale all the way up to standing once again. Coming to the top of your mat, turn the left toes forwards, right foot steps up to meet the left, arms by your sides. Inhale, arms reach up, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Vinyasa. Exhale, plant the palms, step or jump the feet back. This is the last one, so make it a good one. Deep breaths, follow your breath. On your exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Come all the way through into a seat. Inhale, step or jump all the way up and through, having a seat on your mat. I'm going to shift a little bit to the side of my mat so that I can actually see, because surprise, surprise, it's sunny in Scotland this morning. And I have an east-facing front window, so the sun is just coming right on in here. I might leave this class with a tan. So coming into Baddha Konasana, both knees are bent, drop them out to the side, soles of the feet touch one another. From here, inhale, lift your chest. I should have said, if you need it, set something underneath your hips. If you feel like you're collapsing back the way, a little bit of elevation under your hips will help you here. So everybody, inhale, lift your chest, shoulders drop back, exhale, fold, hinging in your hips. As you come forwards, make sure you're leading with your chest and even with your belly button a little bit here, thinking about belly button coming to your heels and letting that lead you into your fold. That will make sure, if you think about belly button to heels, that'll make sure that you are hinging rather than just rounding. Take another 3 deep breaths here. One more. And then back up to the top. Inhale.
Now go ahead, come into any comfortable cross-legged position. So just cross the legs over. You can take regular crisscross applesauce, as we used to call it in elementary school in Florida. And you can also just set the ankles in front of one another if that's more comfortable for your ankles. And if any of you have lotus or half lotus, you can take that. Doesn't really matter which side you're in, because we're going to switch them anyways. So wherever you're at, take your left hand now. Left hand goes across the body to the outside of your right knee. So again, it's left hand to the outside of your right knee. Then right hand comes onto the mat behind you. Inhale, lift the chest, twist. Exhale, turn. Now, whatever leg variation you have, you want your hips grounded and you want your knees to be dropping down. So tendency will be that they start to climb up towards you as you twist. Keep them dropping to the mat. Another 2 or 3 breaths. Lifting on the inhale and twisting on the exhale. Take one more. And then release. Come back to the center. Leave the legs as they are. Start to fold forwards. Walk the hands out in front of you. You would like your hips to stay grounded behind you. Don't let them come off of the mat. Keep them down. Or keep them down on your block if you're there. Once you've folded a little bit, then walk your hands to the left side. So again, hands walk to the left, which means that you should start to feel some information in the right side of your body. So you're reaching through the right front arm and your right hip is grounding behind you. Just another 2 or 3 breaths here. Don't get too attached to what this one looks like. You want your chest facing the mat and you want to reach through the right arm. Just think about that. One more. And then release. Come back to the center. Come back up to the top. Now, wherever your legs are, switch them. So if you're in a cross-legged position with the right shin in front, switch it so that the left shin is now in front. If you had half lotus with your right heel on top, switch it so that your left heel is on top. All of that good stuff. Then, other side. Hips are grounded, knees dropping down. Your right hand comes to the outside of your left knee or thigh. Left hand onto the mat behind you. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, twist. Maybe 2 or 3 more. Use a little bit of power in the arms. You can push with this front arm and you can roll back through that back shoulder. Last one here. And then release. Back to the center. Again, leave the legs for this final one. Start to walk forwards into that bit of a fold. It doesn't matter how far down you come here. Again, keep the chest facing the mat, facing the ground, and walk the hands to the right this time. So as the hands walk to the right, your front arm should be the left arm, and you're reaching through that left hand. You can let your left shoulder, this front shoulder, drop a little bit towards the mat. Maybe one more here. And then release. Come back to the center. Draw yourself back up and out of that fold. And then you're coming down onto your back. So draw the knees up into your chest. And roll all the way down onto your back. Once you're down, you can release your knees and set your feet onto the mat. Feet are going to be about hips width apart. Heels are just out of reach of your fingers. The heels are a little bit wider than your toes. Grip the mat with all 10 toes. Push down through the hands. Inhale, lift your hips. Hips going up towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades maybe walk together underneath you. First option, keep pushing down into your hands. Second option, interlace the fingers underneath you. Reach the knuckles to your heels. Feet are grounded. Watch you're not rolling to the outer edges of your feet or lifting up onto your toes. Press through the heels and send the chest further back. 2 or 3 more. When you've had enough, release the bind if you took it. Separate your shoulder blades. Upper back comes into the mat first, and then roll down. Your middle back rolls down next. The lower back is the last thing to come onto the mat. Then draw the right knee into your chest. Wrap the arms around the right leg. You can release the left leg long. 2 or 3 breaths pulling that right knee in. And then draw your left knee back up towards you and release the right leg. Your lower back is grounding here. And then draw the right knee back up. And go ahead, release the knees, set the feet onto the mat. You're coming into reclining pigeon pose here. Take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. So again, right ankle on top of the left thigh. Ankle is flexed. The right knee is moving forwards towards the front of your mat, away from you. Now you can stay here, just pushing into that knee, sending it forwards. Second option, bring the legs towards you. Take your hands underneath your left thigh. So your right arm is going to go through that little gap between your thighs at the moment. Interlace underneath the thigh, and then let your shoulders and your neck relax. Let them drop back towards the mat again. Now as you're coming in here, for most of you it's going to be pretty obvious. You're looking for some information in your right hip, maybe your right glute a little bit as well. Just be aware if your lower back starts to roll up off of the mat. As you bring the knees towards you, pull your hips back down so your lower back flattens out once again. 2 more on this side. And then go ahead, release that bind, set both feet back onto the mat, and you're just going to switch right to the other side. Left ankle on top of your right thigh. A little flex of your left ankle. First option, stay, moving your left knee towards the front of your mat. Second option, knees towards you. Reach forwards, grab a hold underneath your right thigh, and then let the upper body drop back down again. So again, hips are rolling flat to the mat, lower back rolling flat, but also shoulders as well. Notice if your shoulders have rounded up here off of the mat. Roll them back down. Maybe 3 more on this side. And when you're ready, go ahead, release both feet to the mat. Coming into a twist. Send your hips a little bit over to the right side of your mat. Hips move to the right. Draw the knees back up to your chest and then drop the knees across to the left side of your mat. So that right knee, that top knee is really leading across. It's pulling your right hip over to the left side. Once you've got the legs into your twist, then drop your gaze out over your right shoulder. So your inhales are letting your right hip move a little further away from the mat. And your exhales are letting your right shoulder drop closer to the mat. And then release. Start to come back to the center. Draw both knees into your chest. And then setting up the other side. Feet set down. Hips move to the left. Knees into your chest, knees together. Drop the knees to the right. And your gaze goes out to the left. Taking a few more long, intentional breaths through the nose. And slowly coming back to the center. Unwinding the legs, drawing the knees up into your chest. And then preparing your Shavasana. If you need props, go ahead, find those. Pillows, blankets, anything of the sort. If you have a favorite shape, go ahead, find that. Otherwise, the legs can release long. The arms can be by your sides, palms facing upwards. Close your eyes. Shavasana. Release the fingers and the toes. Release the ankles and wrists. The knees and elbows. Let the hips sink down into the mat as the legs flop open away from one another. The shoulders melt down as your breath returns to normal. Your lips may slightly part as you release your jaw, letting the tongue come away from the roof of your mouth. Softening the space between the eyebrows. Softening the space behind the ears. Listening to the sounds around you. Letting them wash over your body. Creating stillness. Watching as your thoughts come in and out through your mind. Letting them finish. Letting them pass. Without creating any attachments to them. Finding the space that exists inside your mind. And finding some peace. Slowly beginning to deepen your breath. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circling the ankles and wrists. Rocking the head from side to side. Inhale to reach the arms overhead, reaching long through the fingers and through the toes. Exhale, draw the knees into the belly, wrap the arms around them, giving yourself one last big hug, rocking from side to side. Eventually winding up on your right hand side, using your right bicep as a pillow. Remaining in Shavasana with your eyes closed. And when you're ready, press into your left palm, coming up to any comfortable seated position. Palms may press together at chest center if you choose. May you take only what is offered, take only what you need, and always give more than you take. Stay safe, stay kind, and stay patient. Thank you. Namaste.